let's get right into it. Rosé all day. First off, rosé. I think all of you know this because all of you have been on at least one rosé tasting before. Rosé can be made one of two different ways. You can blend white and red grapes together, or you can limit the amount of skin contact on a red grape wine. So the skin contact is called maceration. We talk about it all the time with whites, with reds, light maceration, extended maceration. Maceration just means skin contact. The time the skins are in contact with the juice. Most grapes have a clear flesh. Most, not all of them. There are some exceptions to that. Most grapes have a clear flesh. So if you don't allow any skin contact, there's no color in the natural wine itself. All that color is coming from the skins of the grapes. And so, again, you can either blend the red and the white together, or you can limit the amount of contact that your skins have for the red grapes. Think Pinot Noir, think Cabernet. Rosé can be made from any red grape, and it can be made of any combination of red and white grapes. The grape doesn't matter. The grape doesn't decide if it's sweet or not, as we'll see with this white Zinfandel, play on words, tongue-in-cheek white Zinfandel. And it really comes down to the style, the color, and figuring out which grapes that you like for rosé. But more importantly, really, it's the style, as we'll kind of see as we go through here. So that is rosé. There's different shades of rosé. There's dark rosé. There's light rosé. There's in-between rosé. And all the color really can tell you about the wine is how long the skins were in contact with the juice. The darker the color, the longer the maceration. The lighter color, the less maceration, less skin contact with the wine was given. So that's all I can tell you. You can have intense, light, really pale colored rosés, and you can have intense, dark rosés. You can have sweet of any color and any style. For our intents and purposes, all of these rosés are sweet, and most of the rosés in fermented are not sweet. They're dry. Did I say they're sweet? They're not sweet. They're dry, and most of the rosés in fermented are dry rosés. All right, we're going to get started with Brunn Zweigelt Rosé, one of the most popular rosés in the store right now. Last season as well, when we could keep it in stock. This is a beautiful, light, elegant, juicy rosé from Austria. So they are located in Austria, just outside of Vienna. And Austria is predominantly white grape region. Austria, Germany, dominated by white grape production because it's so cold. And red grapes generally need more sunshine to get ripe, to get that color, to get the phenolic ripeness, to get the sugar levels that they need, to tame the acid levels that they need. So predominantly white production, but there are some great red grapes being grown in and out of Germany and Austria. The most famous is Pinot Noir. They do grow some great Pinot Noir in Germany and Austria. We don't see a whole lot in the United States. But there's some great examples out there. And then in Austria specifically, Zweigelt is a fantastic grape for red wine production. We have red Zweigelt. Blauer Zweigelt is the full name of the grape. And we have a red version that's delicious from Mayhofer. And then we have this rosé version from Brunn. So it is a red grape. It does see limited skin contact. Beautiful old estate. You can see the rocky soil, the beautiful old buildings, cellars. I mean, look at these barrels. Those things look amazing. I want to drink wine right out of there. I bet it's delicious. And so 100% Blauer Zweigelt, as we said, they are practicing organic, not certified. All of it's estate fruit, native fermentation in stainless steel, very bright, very fresh, very vibrant, minimal sulfite regimen at bottling, and just a really, really crushable rosé. It also comes in a liter bottle. So when you price that out, this is a fantastic daily drinker. Poolside, yes. Beachside, yes. Lakeside, yes. Patio, grill, all the things that you need in the summertime. This goes with every single one of them. Pair with a picnic in the park, that is the best pairing ever. Prosciutto and cantaloupe, crispy spring rolls, smoked salmon, really any kind of sushi. Very, very versatile wine. Goes with a lot of things. And also great by itself. That's the beautiful thing about Rosé. They are the most versatile food pairing wine, but they're also just really incredible to drink all on their own.
One thing that I think is really cool, and I hope I'm not skipping out too much in connectivity, this family's 6 generations in on owning this property, this particular land. And they technically own the oldest traditional basket press in this part of Europe, which dates back to 1564 AD. So to have a very cool original winemaking apparatus dating back that far is incredible, on top of the fact that they've been farming this specific land for 6 generations. So you tend to see that more in this area of the world than your kind of more modernized side.
Yeah, that's old. That is an old estate. And also, I forgot to mention, this wine has a little bit of effervescence to it as well. So there's a little bit of bubbly in there, prickly. It's not just the acid. This is a high acid wine, but it also has some effervescence. When you first open up that bottle, there will be some bubbles in it. That's perfectly okay. Just call it frizzante, enjoy it, and yum, yum, yum. It makes me want more. My mouth is salivating. I want food. I want more rosé. And lucky for me and lucky for you, we have more rosé. Up next, one of our most iconic producers in the store. We've had him since we opened. We know him. We love him. It is Brock Sellers, and he makes just about everything. We had this conversation in the shop either yesterday or today. The guy does everything. We just got in the Amaro Blendo, which is Barbera, Primitivo, and Sauvignon Blanc, all blended together. It is dynamite. It's very gluggalicious, and is a great kind of rosé-ish wine. It technically is blend of red and white grapes together. So come check that out. We got a couple cases of it. It's yummy. And then this is his white Zinfandel. He did it first last year. And, white Zinfandel really is what took Americans so long to get into rosé. We've talked about this before, and the white or the rosé kind of craze is really the last 5 years in the market. Before that, you couldn't sell people rosé for nothing. It just wasn't a hot category. Everybody thought it was sweet, and all of that was because of white Zinfandel. White Zinfandel was created by accident, stuck fermentation. They decided to market it, and turns out people in the 70s liked sweet wine. So it was a big smash hit, and it was great for them at the time, but it gave pink wine a bad name. Over in Provence, they'd been making this really dry pink stuff called rosé for years and years and years, and it was nothing like white Zinfandel. So it took the American consumer and market a while to break free of the white Zinfandel stigma. Brock does a lot of rosé. His Love Rosé is always one of our most popular. It was just featured in the New York Times in a cool article called The Dark Side of Rosé. And we're out of it already. We've been out for a while, and every year it's getting harder and harder to get. But he also does some really high-end rosés as well, some single vineyard stuff, single grape stuff. And this is one of them, and it is 100% Zinfandel. Brock works with a lot of Zinfandel vineyards throughout California, all at least farming sustainable, most organic or biodynamic. And he has some great grower relationships where he's able to oversee the farming process so that he can make sure it lines up with his creative process. And so this is 100% Zinfandel. It is only 4 hours of skin contact, which is crazy. You get all of this color out of only 4 hours of the Zinfandel grape being in contact with the juice. That's not very long at all. And he gets some really unique, fun, different flavors out of this. It's picked super early, so it's nothing like the, big jammy American red Zinfandels that we're used to drinking. He makes his Zinfandels more in a style of Pinot Noir, a little bit lighter bodied. So he's picking his fruit earlier on the vine. The acid levels are much higher and the sugar levels are much lower than you would normally get. Aaliyah, this is, did you have last year's?
Yep. Sorry, I was clicking the wrong buttons. Yeah, I had last year's. And again, just this is not like any white Zinfandel I've ever had in my life. And I think that's so fun for people to experience. There is a difference. There is a range that if people were to embrace making more rosés from Zin, that could be achieved, which is cool.
Yeah, it's yummy. And it is nothing like last year. Last year, he actually blended a little bit of white into the white Zinfandel. So it was a blend of rosé and orange wine co-fermented separately. This year, he did 100% Zinfandel. And it's got this crazy, like, blood orange rind, like really almost a sweet and bitter citrus fruit in there, with lots of layers of complexity. Foot stomped, so you don't see that very often anymore, but it is making a comeback. Mendocino and Sonoma, so kind of a California wine is what they have to label it as. 10-day fermentation, large stainless steel tanks, and that's it. Man, this is yummy. And this is a wine that, honestly, if you're going to decant whites or rosés, and you do need to decant whites and rosés sometime, this is one of those that I would decant for a while and watch how it changes and opens up and evolves. Also, if you're drinking it super, super cold, it's going to mute some of those delicate flavors. There is some floral in here as well, and I'm getting more grapefruit on the with that time as well. But more aggressive, more assertive, and more intense than the Brune, which was a little bit more pretty. It was a little more finesse. This one has a little bit more raw power, kind of lurking behind that fruit. Holly wants to be on TV, mommy.
Yeah, yeah, she does.
She's so cute. Yum. I love it. Very unique, very different, and pairs with Sunday brunch. Yes, you should have rosé at Sunday brunch. I would do, yeah, this with like eggs Benedict, that tarragon. Oh, salads, chicken salad, salmon, yes. Anything with lime juice, ceviche, I think this could go really well with. Charcuterie, soft cheeses. I want it with like a really intense aged Gouda. Yeah. Yum, 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 yum. All right. Limited. I think we get 2 cases this year. That's it. $35. Come and get it while we got it. Come check out the Amoro Blendo from him as well. And yeah. All right. Now, JPB, John Paul Brune, one of our favorite producers. This is the first time we've ever gotten his rosé, and it is really, really yummy and really, really delicious. So
excited for this one. So when that came through the new arrivals list, I think I maybe had like a small coronary about it because it took me a minute to catch on. That's what it was. And then poor Alex started getting a bunch of messages about it. So that's so exciting.
Yeah, it is. And it's a really, really fun wine. just in time for the brutal August heat of summer. And we're almost through it. This will help us get through it just a little bit happier. So this is, we're in Southern Burgundy for this wine, Beaujolais, more specifically. And in Southern Burgundy, it's kind of the redheaded stepchild of Burgundy. It is a part of Burgundy, but it doesn't get talked about as part of Burgundy, and it doesn't really get a whole lot of recognition in collectors, fine wine. All of the discussion goes to its northern sibling, the proper Burgundy region. But it is a part of Burgundy. It is Southern Burgundy, and it grows grapes that are similar to its northern sibling. And Gamay is the name of the red grape that is predominantly grown there. And it's very similar to Pinot Noir, Burgundy's famous red grape. They're both light-bodied. They both can be very ethereal. They both can be aged long-term. They both can be absolutely fascinating intellectual wines, which is why people gravitate towards them. Beaujolais picked up the nickname of poor man's Burgundy because the wines can be very similar in style and in greatness, ageability, popularity, without having the price tag of Burgundy, because Burgundy can get really, really expensive. And so this lovely pink wine is the grape Gamay. It is organically farmed on Jean-Paul Brun's home estate, planted in 1983. And we just got a bunch of it, and we've got a little bit more on hold down the road. So we should be able to keep this in stock for just at least through the hottest months of the summer, and then into probably Thanksgiving, fall, which I am definitely going to buy a bottle now and stick away for Thanksgiving, because I think this would be a fantastic Thanksgiving wine. It's full. It's rich. You can tell it's the darkest color of all of the wines that we're tasting on this tasting today. Hand harvested, direct press, natural yeast fermentation. We would expect nothing less. And aging in steel. Very minimal sulfur. And it did undergo malolactic fermentation. That's that secondary fermentation that softens the acids and adds a little bit of texture as well as almost like a creaminess to the wine.
Well, and Adam, on that, kind of on the subject of malolactic fermentation, is that something that rosés typically experience? Most red wines, we know, hopefully, and if you don't, you now know, most red wines do go through malolactic fermentation. In whites, we see those most often with a Chardonnay type situation with creamy, buttery Chardonnays. How often are rosés going through the second fermentation?
I don't think very often. I have not noticed people making a point to say that rosé has undergone malolactic fermentation. And so my gut says that not a lot of it. And you can tell the difference in this. The weight, the creaminess really is kind of what gives it away. There's a textural difference from this one versus the last two that we tasted. The last two that we tasted, the acid was very sharp. It was very bright, and it was very distinct. This acid's more mellow. There is a creaminess. Think of like milk. There's a creamy texture to this wine, and that comes specifically from the malolactic fermentation. And it's not something that I think that you get in a lot of rosés, at least not ones that I've experienced. It'd be something fun to look into to see which one, if any other of our rosés have undergone malolactic fermentation, because I could not tell you 100% for sure if they have or not.
Well, we're writing it down now then.
I love it. So next time you're in talking about rosé, ask us if we know how many others have undergone malolactic fermentation. So again, a bigger, a weightier version of rosé. Really, really delicious, really food friendly. Like I said, Thanksgiving, this would be amazing for brie. We always do brie as an appetizer while everything's getting ready. This would be dynamite with that and some salami or some really beautiful other aged meat.
Fried turkey.
Fried turkey, yes. Definitely. I would like it with some fish tacos. I think this would be delicious with fish tacos. Any appetizer, really. Yes, absolutely. Man, I love it. All right, again, get it while we got it. Yes.
Sorry. One thing I did want to say, this was a fun fact on Jean Paul Broom, because I think it's so cute and it is summer themed. That was noted on the Louis Dresner site, which that's the importer that we work with for this wine. But years ago, Jean Paul he expanded his old farmhouse to include a pool. He built a pool on his property, and he has yet to use it because he's so focused on the vines and spending his time in the vineyard. So he built a pool and hasn't been using it.
That's pretty hilarious.
And it's all about dedication to
your
wines.
And he's a very, very dedicated, driven man. I forgot to mention that he really, for him, it's all about farming. Everything that he does, it's all about farming. If you haven't experienced his other wines, which we're out of stock right now, you have to try his other wines. He does a Chardonnay that is unoaked and just absolutely bonkers for the price point. He does an amazing village level Gamay red wine that I would put up next to any red Burgundy, even almost up to twice the price. It's dynamite. We do have a little bit of his single vineyard or his Cru Fleury, not single vineyard, but Cru Beaujolais. And it is amazing. And then we have a tiny, tiny bit. He does an off-dry rosé sparkling wine that we got 6 bottles of this year. It does have just the slightest bit of sweetness, but it is the perfect balance of sweet. It's tough to describe because so many people have been turned off by really, really sweet wines that an off-dry wine can have just the right amount of sweetness to be perfect. I don't have a sweet tooth at all, even when it comes to food. I generally don't eat dessert. I'm much more savory, but the demi-sec or semi-sweet sparkling wines can be really, really delightful at the right time, the right place, with the right food and the right people.
If my eyeball saw it correctly when I was in the store today, we've got one of those. There was one on the floor.
I think there's 2 or 3 on the barrel.
Okay, so
yes. So
2 to 4.
Yes. 3 or 4 left, if that piques your interest. And they are, I think, 35 as well. Really, really awesome little wines. And this is $25. So I don't think I mentioned prices as we were going through. 18 for the Brun, 35 for the White Zin, 25 for the JPB Rosé. And it's a fantastic little value. All right. Up next, that looks like they're at the A in Alpharetta almost.
It does, doesn't it? Isn't that so fun?
It does. They need to come take a picture in Alpharetta in front of the A and put it up there. So, Delinquente. We don't usually have a ton of Australian wines in the store. We have a couple. We've always had a couple. But we're starting to find some really cool new producers from Australia that are as far away from Yellowtail as you can possibly be on every single level. So, just like White Zinfandel really ruined a generation of rosé drinkers, Yellowtail ruined a generation of Aussie drinkers also. Penfolds is the most famous winery out of Australia. Then you have Yellowtail and all of the jug brands that came out. And now there's rising up, kind of like is happening in California and really all over the world. To be quite honest, there's a young generation of winemakers who are coming up, realizing that the wines being made aren't authentic, aren't true to what they know wine to be, what they grew up with wine being. The industry has moved so far away from natural that people who have fallen in love with natural have come back to this style of winemaking. And a lot of that is the younger generation pushing the boundaries on that and not making wine the way that everybody else started to make wine. And this is in the Riverlands. All of Australia's wine regions are kind of concentrated in one spot in Australia. The Riverlands is right off the coast. Adelaide is on the coast. And then you have the Riverlands right there. And they're in the Riverlands specializing on Italian varietals specifically. So they're only working with Italian varietals. They think the climate and the soil is very similar to what you would find throughout Italy. And so they're focusing on some really cool indigenous, weird, not indigenous to Australia, indigenous to Italy, weird, fun grape varietals with all of their wines. And we've had a lot of fun with a lot of their wines that have come through the store. This is a particular series that they're doing called the Hell series. It's super high end. It's super limited. I don't know exactly where the name comes from, but I imagine it's got to have something to do with Dante's Inferno. Their wine names and labels are really, really fun and unique and creative. And this is the Delinquente Hell Rosé. So when it's hot as hell outside, this is the rosé that you want to be drinking. That's what I'm taking the hell to mean. And when it gets hot as hell in Georgia, this is the rosé that you're going to want to be drinking. It is awesome. Also want to note that you don't want to drink it too cold either. I mentioned this in the White Zinfandel. This one's a very expressive, very aromatic rosé, unlike most rosés that I've tasted before. And it is much, much better if you give it just a little time to warm up out of fridge temperature or out of ice chest temperature if you are using an ice chest to chill down your rosé.
In full disclosure, I have never heard of Fermented Pires, one of the white grapes that's being used in this, before seeing this information before. So they're going all out. That is originally a Portuguese variety, but they're just starting to play. So in addition to Italian, Iberian Peninsula grapes as well seem to be making an appearance across their latest releases, which is really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know that was from Portuguese descent either. I had never heard of it before this wine. And so mix of white and red grapes. You have 3 white grapes, 1 red grape. Malvasia is grown all throughout Tuscany and Italy. Albarino, another Spanish grape. Portuguese grape, and then Italian grape, Sangiovese, red Italian grape, Sangiovese. So they do seem to be branching out from their Italian heritage here in the Hell series. Grown in the Riverlands, beautiful, beautiful area that I really want to go see. Called the Riverlands because it's on a major river running through Australia. Whole cluster press to stainless steel for fermentation. Once dry, once the sugar is all eaten away and turned into alcohol, then it goes into French barrique. This one undergoes mallow as well. So we've got 2 that we know underwent malolactic, and then matured for about 8 months in the French barrique. And again, just such aromatic nose. Grapefruit, peach, passion fruit, guava,
I was,
lime.
yeah, just smelling it. Alex let me smell it this afternoon, and I was just like, what,
Yep.
what is this? And like
Yeah.
pineapple and heaps of peaches. Just wow, it smelled like a cocktail.
Yeah.
That you must be on the beach with your beach
Yes.
towel, so your glass is cool, maybe hand blown with some colors. Like it
Yep.
just seemed like that kind of a wine, which is cool.
It is that kind of a wine. And it's crazy unique. It's crazy delicious. It's crazy aromatic. It's fun. It is pure joy in a glass. And super, super versatile. Again, as far as food pairings go, that herb crusted lamb would be phenomenal. Yeah, really, really good. Paella, creamy pasta would be a lot of fun with. The pulled pork sandwich, it kind of takes the place of the barbecue sauce. If you had, instead of, like a pineapple barbecue sauce, just drink this as you're eating the pulled pork, and there you go.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
That does sound perfect. And of course, beach time is the absolute best pairing of all for this wine. I want to go to the beach, but I'm not going to get to this summer. Too much going on.
Well, you are going to Willamette, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, I am going to Willamette and cannot wait. We are finalizing our itinerary there. We're going to try to go see Brienne Day. We're going to go to Erie. We're going to go to Division. We're going to go to Teutonic. We're going to go to Statera, and I think that's it.
Oh my gosh. So everyone remember to keep an eye out for any future fermented trips so you can sign up.
Yes. And we do have some great friends going with us. It's going to be an awesome time, and we are super, super, super excited. And stay tuned for that. But before we get into the upcoming, let us think and figure out which ones were our favorites. Man, it's always tough.
Got a vote in from Charlene, which is great. Oh, I think this one's a hard one.
It is. It is a hard one.
I'm going to give an honor. So full disclosure, obviously I have not had the opportunity to taste these yet, but I'm going to give an honorary, my vote to Jean-Paul Brune, just because I was so excited to see that come through. And I have 2 bottles in my box, and I'm going to be drinking them when I'm permitted. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And you're going to love it when you're
I know I am. Yay.
I have to go with number 4 here as well, which I believe makes number 4 the runaway winner.
Pretty much. Natalie, Natalie voted. Okay, so yes, number 4 is our winner.
Yep. Love number 1 also. I love them all. They're all really, really delicious and great for summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And just to keep you all in the loop, upcoming, we have next week Summer Reds, and then we're going to wrap up our Zoom series with Jolie Lade, Mr. Scott Schultz to close out the month. And then we will be transitioning to in-store tastings, but we are going to take off the month of August from any scheduled tastings. So we're going to be opening up Flight Club August 1st, as long as everything goes as planned. And during the month of August, we're just going to take a pause on our tastings so that we can try to figure out Flight Club and make it the best possible place that it can be for you to hang out and do some wine tastings, enjoy some flights. And then we will resume scheduled tastings probably in September. But we'll give you more word on that as it comes closer to the time.
Adam, on that note of Flight
yes.
Club, just so people know, is that any particular day of the week or?
Yes. So we'll be open basically the same as Fermented, Tuesday through Sunday, in about the same hours as Fermented as well. So just think of it on the same schedule as Fermented. You come pick up your wine, you enjoy a flight, you find some more wine to take home with you, and that is going to be kind of the way that you come enjoy Fermented Flight Club.
And it will be a rotating menu.
It will be a rotating menu of multiple flights, lots of different options, and the space will also be available to rent out for private events as well. Yay! We're excited. Yay! We're getting close.
It's so beautiful, guys. I saw it today. It's so pretty.
And we'll be releasing some more information on social media over the next couple weeks leading up to it. And I think that's it. Am I missing or forgetting anything that you can think of, Aaliyah?
Well, just a big, of course, obviously we want y'all on Summer Reds too, but if you can definitely pencil in July 28th with Scott Schultz, Jolie Lade, and tell your friends. We want that to be a really big turnout if it can be. And of course, Scott's wines are always so amazing. And since they're a little bit on the higher end price point, tasting them through the personal tasting kit is a great opportunity, just since those aren't ones that you get to taste all the time. So definitely, if you can, tell your friends to join Scott's tasting on the 28th.
Yes, absolutely.
And there will be even more fun stuff later, but we can't tell it to you guys all at once because that would just be like information overload.
Yes, always more fun stuff to come, and you will get the information in small bits and pieces. Thank you all so much for joining us. You all have been wonderful supporters of our Zoom tasting series throughout the years. So we thank you. We look forward to continuing to find fun wines, find exciting wines, and build community around the best natural wines around the world. So thank you. We love you. Happy Wednesday. Aaliyah, thank you for another amazing slide deck. Alex, thanks for manning the shop. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week, and we will see you soon in the store. So have a great night.
Good night, everybody. Bye.